Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit podcast, where we talk all things hunting and introduce you to innovative hunting products and services. If you want to level up your hunting game and gear, be sure to join the hunt. To join the hunt, text the word BANDIT to 345-345. And when you do, you'll join our email list, where we'll send killer deals on innovative hunting products and services, along with entertaining tips and tricks straight to your inbox. Again, text the word BANDIT to 345-345, and we look forward to seeing you on the hunt. Hey folks, Jimmy here. I just wanted to let you know of a killer giveaway contest that we're running right now until the end of July. We're giving away an amazing $250 gift card to Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. If you've been wanting to get some more of that killer gear you've been needing, then you'll definitely want to sign up. Just head on over to feedbandit.com and enter today. And don't forget to refer all your hunting buddies and you'll get additional entries into the contest. Details are at feedbandit.com and click on the giveaway contest link at the top. Good luck! Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast. Jimmy here, and as always, I'm joined by the Corn Bandit, Richard. How are things with you, Corn Bandit?
Outstanding. Glad to be here, my friend.
You keeping cool?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Surprisingly, come on. This has been, knock on wood, but, I've lived here my entire life, obviously, and this has been one of the most, that's probably been one of the cooler summers that I can remember us having. Normally we'd be in the hundreds by now, skins melting, that type of thing. And don't get me wrong, we've had some days where I get in the car, I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking miserable. But we hadn't had as many of them yet. So I keep looking at a long-term forecast, and when I see low 90s, God, that's nuts, man. And of course the rain, unbelievable. Just
wait till the opening weekend of dove season, and we'll be sweating.
No, are you kidding me? I sweat when I sleep, so
that's right.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, before we jump into it today, I didn't mention this to you, Richard, but I thought why don't we go ahead and take a quick second to give a shout out to two of our good friends, and I'd probably say fellow bandits, on the birth of their first children. In the last week or so,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Dan and Rich. And then, of course, Dan's wife, Eva, and Rich's Lauren. Congratulations to you guys.
No doubt.
So it's welcome to the club.
two baby girls, actually. Which is kind of crazy. So Jeb, Jimmy's son, is still... he has got almost zero competition still, all chicks and no dudes. So
and he's 2 years old, and Dan's daughter was born on Jeb's birthday, the 17th.
You're kidding me?
So,
oh yeah! Fantastic!
Let's see about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. He actually texted me today, and he's like, "Got any advice?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't have enough data. Where do I start?"
Right.
Anyway,
that's awesome.
Awesome stuff. Now. That's a really good idea. I'm glad you made that suggestion.
Yes, congratulations, guys.
For sure.
All right. Well, today we're honored to talk with Bryce Stone, the founder and creator of thehuntersite.com. That's site, SIGHT, huntersite.com. Welcome, Bryce, to the Feed Bandit podcast. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thanks, Jimmy and Richard, for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was able to get in and explore your website, and I tell you, I'm very impressed with all the things a hunter can do on there. But before we get into the details, if you don't mind, why don't you start out by just telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came up with the idea for the Hunter Site?
All right. Well, just about everything comes out of necessity, so to speak. So I hunt quite a few little small properties, 20 acres in size to up to 50. And there might be one good buck that I can target. And it's always kind of hard when you look at your game camera pictures of like, okay, should I hunt property X? Should I hunt property Z? And you only maybe get 10 hunts out of the year between family and work. And so it's always a struggle to go through your game camera pictures and try and figure out, okay, he was here this time. So I was like, it'd be nice if there was a way I could look up historical weather, see if there's some kind of wind direction pattern or moon phase pattern, something to help me break this down a lot faster and pick the best stand or property to hunt. And so that's kind of how it evolved. It started with that. And of course, when I was getting into it, I was like, well, you got to have satellite maps. You got to be able to scout and put markers and do stuff like that. So then there was that need. And then it's like, well, you know, food plots are nice to grow and keep track of, and then feeding protein and supplementation. And so it just kind of just kept growing as I was working on it. And that's kind of how all the features came about. I tried to include everything that I could for just about any hunter, depending whether they're public or private, could find some good use on the site.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, you definitely have put a lot into the website. So let's, I guess, go ahead and dive in. I tell you what, it looks nice and smooth. That's for sure. Yep. What's really cool and eye-catching, can you talk about the satellite mapping? What a hunter can do with that, with their land, what they can put out there, what they can see, all that.
Sure. First, this isn't an app you download. So you're gonna go to the website on your browser, on your phone, computer, tablet, and you want to use Chrome or Safari. If you use the old Internet Explorer or the Samsung that's on your phone, not all the features are going to work. It's going to look jumbled up. It's just a little bit too outdated for some of this newer technology we implemented. Mm-hmm. So you need to use Chrome or Safari. And when you log in, the first thing you want to do is add a property. You'll give your property a name, and then 6 icons will appear. And the top left one is your map icon. And that's what you want to start with, because everything else that you do is built around your property map. And when you first log in, you'll have like a zoomed out picture of North America. You'll zoom in on your property. I do not have land ownership. So you have to pretty much kind of know where you hunt and go to there. You zoom in where you hunt.
Well, I think everyone should probably know that anyway, right? I mean,
you can't believe how many times I get asked that, and I'm like, I use other apps for Western hunting, but this isn't an app for GPS. This isn't like here to track where you're walking and do all that. This is a journal for you to record all your hunting information, to be able to pull up when you're in the backyard barbecues with your friends and neighbors, you're at work and you're wanting to show them game camera pictures, or you're just sitting there at home trying to plan your hunts coming up. You're like, all right, it's Tuesday. I get to go hunt Friday and Saturday. Let me check the 7-day weather forecast, which is included in this for each property. And so you can click and look at that and be like, it's a northwest wind. Let me go through some of my game camera pictures I have uploaded and click on game trends. And then you can go through the folders that you have sorted out for each camera, and it'll show you your data. It'll tell you, okay, this camera southeast wind, 67%. Okay, I might not want to hunt that stand or property. That's not going to be good. All right, this one, northwest wind, is 55% of my pictures have been during that, and it's a northwest wind this weekend. That might be my best odds. This is what this platform is. It's just tools for you to kind of plan and organize what you're doing. And when you get into the map, it'll go over your property, and you can either outline it and draw either freehand or just like with the typical polygons, like any other Google Maps or anything else that you're using. And it'll give you the acreage. You can click the measure button in the bottom, and if you draw a line, it'll give you the distance in yards. So if you wanted to kind of measure and play around and figure out how far away you are from something. So you have tools like that in here. And there's like 15 or 16 markers, like your cameras, your feeders, your stands, your tent or house location, four-wheelers, mineral sites, water. I mean, everything that you can pretty much need. And then there's like a custom one. If there's something else you want to include, you can put on there and type. But when you first log in, you want to come to the map. You don't have to draw your boundaries with lines if you don't want to. But what you do need to do is place your stands, your feeders if you use feeders, and the most important thing is put your game cameras on the map and give them a name. And once you do that, you can leave the map if you don't want to mess with that anymore. Other than that, there are 4 map styles. There's topography. There's the topography with imagery, which is like a Google Earth type look. and hybrid, and just plain old satellite. You can edit, so you can modify. If you drew a polygon, you can stretch it out and fix your lines a little bit. And what's kind of cool, you do that and you hit measure and you see your acreage. When you're changing those polygons back and forth, that acreage will change. And elevation affects it as well. So it's not just like standard. It takes in for the elevation change in counting your acreage. So that was kind of neat.
Oh, that's cool. So the system,
Um,
it actually calculates, so the map calculates the acreage for you automatically. Is that
yes.
what you're saying? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it even takes the topography into play.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I thought that was pretty useful and neat tool. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
there's the eraser. And so if you need to delete something, all you got to do is just click the eraser button and then just go over to what you want to erase and double click on it. And when you double click, it'll be gone. I would not recommend, well, you can, but be careful about which icons you're going through and erasing, because a lot of things are tied to your game cameras. I'll explain later. But you don't want to go through and erase your game camera, and then you're erasing all those pictures you have tied to it, all that data. So how this works is basically when you put your game camera on that map, I'm getting your GPS locations. And then that's how I can look up historical weather. So, and then that comes into play with all the other tools you get to use later. So, So yeah, once the map's done, you just click save in the bottom right, and then there's I mentioned 6 icons. In the top middle is your game photos, and you would click on that, and the game cameras that you added to your property and named will be in a drop-down list automatically, so you don't have to type them out anymore. They're there, and you'll just select which camera it is for the pictures that you're uploading from. Select the camera. And then you'll have a folder, upload your pictures. That you do need to organize your pictures on your desktop, like you already do anyway. And so you're just taking that organized pictures of that certain buck or hog or turkey or just deer in general, whatever it is that you're wanting to pattern off your game camera. And name that folder, go to the hunter site, select the camera, name your folder in the hunter site, download those pictures to that folder. We'll call it Big Buck 10 for this talk. And all those pictures of Big Buck 10 will be there. And then you would go to Game Trends and select the camera, select Big Buck 10 folder, and then you'll see all your patterns based on wind direction, moon phase, and time of day of when he was there.
Wow. That's pretty impressive, all the data that you can
Oh,
you can glean from all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, so would you say that, I mean, basically this thing gives you this word's probably overused, but a kind of a holistic view of, everything going on your land. You can see from a high level, basically the boundaries, but you can also see exactly where, or you could put on there exactly where your blinds are, where your feeders are. You can kind of see how far apart they are from each other. Maybe you need see maybe I want to adjust something here because I think maybe they're too close now that I see them on a satellite picture rather than just kind of going out there judging while I'm on my land on the ground itself.
That's right.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you
I would urge any
have kind of a
hunter,
hunting
yeah.
ground.
I would urge any hunter to, whether you're using the hunter site or some other app, to definitely use satellite mapping. It's unbelievable how much you'll discover about your property that you didn't even realize. Seeing even your neighboring lands, kind of what they're offering, trying to figure out, okay, well, maybe my deer are bedding over here, and this is typically how they're traveling. It just gives you, a good bird's eye view and an understanding of what's going on. And then you can change your feeders or your stands or what you're doing and improve your hunting overall. So I agree with exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
And so you can see your deer frequencies of your game camera pictures with this site, and you can access this from obviously any electronic device that has a web browser. So if you're at work, you got a couple minutes, you can pull this up and look real quick. You can do it at home. You can do it at the cabin where you're hunting. Obviously you need cell service, so that kind of hurts some people, but you can do this on your phone. You can do this in your stand. You can look at stuff. So the nutrition.
It's very mobile.
Oh, go ahead.
I was looking at it on my phone today, and it's almost as if, and maybe you did. Did you design it more with like mobile in mind up front, knowing that people might want to use it, look at it on their phone more often than on a browser? Or
yes, well, yes and no. Eventually, I want to get this to be an app that you can download and have offline capabilities. Mm-hmm. So when, designing and doing this, we kind of had that in mind, that eventually we'd like to gravitate where you can use this offline and basically input your data when you don't have cell service from your phone. Maybe you're at the ranch and you're filling the feeders, but you don't have cell phone service, or you're doing your food plots, or you're logging harvest, whatever it is, and be able to do that offline. And then whenever you get somewhere with service, it'll auto-populate. We're not there yet, but that is a goal.
Okay. That's great. That's really neat.
Right.
Y'all have any more questions? Before I just keep rambling on.
No, it's okay. I understand when you're excited about something that you built. You could talk about it all day, right? We're the same way.
I can. Ask my wife about it. Geez, she's not here now.
Yeah. But tell us a little bit about what you can do to track, say, nutrition and whatnot. I know. So you put feeders in there as an example, and you can put their location on the map. But also you can go to, I guess, the nutrition area and basically say, I put X amount of, protein in this one on this day or whatever, so that it'll remind you, I guess, what you did in the past. Is that right? What else can you kind of do there with that? Okay.
Yeah. Since we're talking about the supplementation, then I'll circle back around on the food plots. But yeah, when you go to the supplementation, you have your feeder that's on the map. It comes into a drop-down list when you go to add it, and then you'll choose which feeder it is, and it's a pre-made template. So you choose your feeder, you'll type in what type of supplement it was, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in a feeder. Maybe you're just putting cottonseed out, or you're putting alfalfa hay out, just some location where you're putting supplements out. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a gravity feeder. But you type in the name of the feed, how many pounds you put out, and the day, and then any additional notes like you fixed the fencing or fixed the feeder leg or unclogged the protein feeder, whatever, change the batteries out. And you have these records. You'll add that record. You can go through. You can share these records to a hunt club. So, and I'll talk about that more later, but a hunt club is basically like your group management, and you don't necessarily have to hunt the same land. Like Jimmy and Richard, you guys, you could be on a hunt club and not hunt the same property, but just share pictures with each other and nutrition records and food plots, kind of to help improve and increase your knowledge as hunters. It's just like, hey, I'm reading you're growing this and that, but can I see your records? Like, what did you, really do? And so maybe I can duplicate that. Or
so it's not just it's not just like a physical location hunt club. It's more of a virtual hunt club through the website.
That's right.
Where you can have more than one location.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I like that, especially if you've got a buddy who's got something in the area, and or somebody in the friend of yours hunting in the same area. Talk about trading success stories. I think one of the things that not to interrupt, but one of the things that's always driven me nuts is that we will go do something during the season, or we will fill something up, and we remember for about 2 weeks, and then
forget.
A couple of months later, like, God have mercy,
did we do
what
that?
did we do here? Because what, seriously, where do you have a place to put notes? I can put you should see. I've got an Apple phone. You should see the little note section there. It's full of all kinds of crap that I did 8 months ago. I'm like, oh, God, there it is. So I mean, like having something that's dedicated for your feeder notes or something like that, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, and speaking of notes too, I didn't cover that on the front page on your when you first log in, your home page, so to speak. There is a notes section, and that's to write any additional things or to-do list or whatever you want. That's not even tied to the records and stuff that I'm going over. Just extra stuff like you're saying, or repairs may be needed, or something you noticed on this trip up to the lease, but you're like, man, when I go back, I need to remember to bring X and X such, so I can fix this or do this. Mm-hmm. That's there, but yeah, back to the supplement records. So yeah, you can share them with as many hunt clubs as you want, any groups, and so you could have a group for your lease, group for your friends, whatever, and then you can edit these records. So say you type something up and it was a mistake or wrong, you can change it, and you can delete them, obviously. And another cool feature with these records, so you're putting in how many pounds you put in the feeder in the day. So if you go back up to the drop down at the top right, you'll see your food plot, supplementation, mineral block. There's feeder trends. And the feeder trends, we automatically take your records. You'll automatically go to monthly trend. You'll select a feeder. All the feeders on your map will pop up on this property. Like right now I'm going through this while I'm talking to you guys. And so say bottom feeder comes up and I select the year. Say I've had these records for multiple years. I'll select 2018. And then I can see January to December how many pounds I put in each month. And so it can kind of help track the usage. And I'm not doing any extra work. These are just all from the records that take about 30 seconds to input. Mm-hmm. And then it'll show a bar graph showing as well besides just a table with the numbers in them. And then if you go and click compare feeders, which is to the right of monthly trends, you can compare every feeder you have on your property, the usage. So this is great if you want to compare different types of protein. Say you want to compare different brands of protein pellets, or you want to compare cottonseed, versus pellets versus alfalfa, whatever it is, versus soybeans. So you could do that, and this would tell you based on consumption which one was the most popular. And so you could select it from January to June, select a year. You can change it from 2 months to look at these graphs to a whole year, whatever. You select your date range, and then it'll show you the total pounds in each feeder. And so that's just another extra little thing to have in your tool belt.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, do y'all have any questions on that before we just keep rolling?
No, not on that. Does that have? Well, I guess I was gonna ask. I guess this might be jumping back a little bit, but we talked about the deer frequency, the tables and deer frequency by wind direction. It just occurred in my head. Now, how do you drive those? Is there a spot where you put in what you see at each time you're sitting at a feeder, and then it kind of saves all that and it gives you that, or how does that work?
That frequency off of the game trends, that's just all off your game camera.
Oh, it's based off okay.
It's off your game camera pictures. And so the point of this, people look at the plans, and there's 3 plans, 1,000 pictures, 4,000 pictures, or 10,000. And they're like, well, I go way through more pictures than that. Well, this isn't necessarily for you to upload every picture you have of all the raccoons, the squirrels, whatever. This is for you to specifically target an animal or animals and to show you, based on your game camera pictures, the wind direction, the moon phase, and the time of day that were most common at that camera. And you have the ability, which I didn't discuss earlier, I forgot to share those pictures. So when you upload a game camera picture, we're collecting that data that you can see in game trends, but on your game camera picture, you can put your mouse over it, and you have the ability to share those with the hunt club. You have the ability to edit them, and you have the ability to delete. And I should have talked about that, but yes, how often have we set out cameras and had the wrong day or time? Mm-hmm. I'm guilty of that, and I'll go back and I'll kind of have a pretty good idea of what the time should have been, or very close. And So with my program, when you're uploading those pictures, you can mass edit all those pictures you're uploading simply by editing the date and the correct time on the very first picture that comes up to upload. And the following pictures after that upload will automatically change. And so all those pictures will get correct, which is useful to utilize the game trends, because game trends is useless if your date and time are wrong.
Right, right. No, but it's really cool here. It says, you can see the percentages of deer frequency by time of day, and it says deer frequency by wind direction. So you're kind of getting an idea.
I forgot to tell you guys, put in, when you select the date range, select from January 1st, 2018 to 2019. Because most of those pictures and there's pictures of hogs, squirrels. It's random. It's not like you're going to see a jumble of a pie chart because it's just everything. But I uploaded most of those from the summer and last fall. So, but yeah, if you start from January 1st, 2018, then you'll see the pie charts come up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I can see, I mean, that's information that, it's hard to come by unless you're kind of a spreadsheet nerd like I am sometimes. That maybe you want to make your own hunting spreadsheet. It's much easier.
Who's got time for all that? I'm here to save you time, guys.
Exactly. No, totally.
It'd be the first time I've ever looked at the pie chart and actually smiled. And it didn't want to eat.
Right.
That's funny. Yeah, and this is only $25 a year. So for $25 a year, you can use all these tools. You can create unlimited properties, unlimited hunt clubs. There is a lease listing section, but it doesn't have a lot of activity now. So sorry, fellas, if you're looking for a hunting lease, this isn't the place to go right now. But if you're a ranch and you're advertising a place to hunt, come on down to the hunter site, and for $25 a year, you can post your lease, and you can use all these tools. But besides that little shameless plug, yeah, the game trends, are y'all in there looking at it right now? Did you put in the year and see the little pie charts and all that? And if you change the dates around, you can see all the charts move and update. Back to editing the pictures. Yeah. So you can mass edit. You can mass edit these, or you can edit just individual pictures. So you can put your mouse over one picture. You can share that picture to as many hunt clubs as you want, and you can edit the day and time on that picture if you want to. And of course, you can delete that picture. And then, that's what some people I was talking to about this hunt club. Like, yeah, you can share game photos and this and that with your lease members. And they're like, I'm not sharing any pictures with my lease. I'm like, look, you don't have to share the pictures. This is just, you have the ability to. They can't see what you're doing on your private page. So all these features I'm telling you about, nobody can see unless you share it to a hunt club.
Right.
This is your private, unless you give them your login information and then they log in. But
well, I think that's that's a good segue for me to jump back. Sorry for jumping around here with questions. Back to the hunting club idea. I saw where there's an ability to kind of create kind of a log of like deer that you want to target, I guess, for that year.
A hit list,
Yeah, a hit list. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, so when you create a hunt club, if you create the hunt club, you're the admin, you're in control, and so you're in control of a message board I'll talk to you about later, and you're in charge of inviting people to this hunt club, and you're in charge of the club notes. Like the login you guys are looking at doesn't allow y'all to make any changes to the club notes section. So that's great to put in the lease rules or the hunting ranch rules or prices on animals or whatever it is that you want to do. And then the hit list, so you can create a hit list with your group of animals that you guys want to target. Because how many people on the lease complain about this guy shooting, Dave's shooting this buck and Richard over here shooting this, like, and Jimmy over there shooting all the coons up. What's going on? Right. So this kind of is, you're never going to eliminate all the squabble spaces. I'm a realist, but this is a tool to really help. And so, and you guys, you know how being on a lease, you live in different cities or out of state. This platform allows everybody to communicate through a message board, through group chat. You know, you can share game photos of what you have. And don't worry if there's this super secret 12-pointer that everybody else has got on their game camera, but you don't think they do. You don't have to share it. You know, that's what I find funny is people are like, well, I don't want them to. I'm like, dude, you know how much deer move around and roam? Right. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody else has got a picture of him too somewhere. So you're not really hiding anything. But then, of course, you can share nutrition and harvest records in the hunt club. And so if you're growing a food plot that's been kicking butt and you're like that guy on the lease that is the expert, everybody's like, how do you always grow these? Well, if you want to be a nice guy and further educate your fellow hunters, you can share your records and you can get very detailed. I'm sorry, I'm jumping back to that. Let me stay on the hit list part. So yeah, on the hit list, you can upload a picture, you can give it a name, select a date, and write additional notes. And then the notes will show up when you put your mouse over the picture. Okay. So like the picture you guys are looking at, the wild pig one, you put your mouse over, it says kill all pigs on sight. Mm-hmm. So you can write additional notes with that. And then you can easily, you see the trash can come up and delete these pictures if somebody killed the buck, or if people aren't agreeing that's a hit list buck. And you'll know that through group chat. And people will be like, no, he's a young buck, blah, 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 we should pass him. Like, okay, we'll take him off the list. But anyway, hopefully this kind of helps a group manage their property. And then the harvest data, so it's basically your kill sheet. And I was being PC and calling it harvest. It's just what you have to do nowadays.
Not on this podcast.
Yeah, no.
Okay, well, this is your kill sheet right here. So you come into it, and you can put your little grip and grin picture there. And let me click on Add a Harvest so I can really throw it to you. But you click Add a Harvest, you upload your picture, and you have choices like buck, doe, hog, turkey, duck, goose, other. If you choose other, that allow you to type in coyote, raccoon, whatever. Elk, you know, if you're hunting up there. Axis deer. When you hit buck or doe, you can, on any of these animals, you can give it an age. But I specifically included that for bucks, obviously, trying to keep up with the age structure. And so I guesstimate, okay, I killed that buck. He's 3.5 years old. When I put the records in, I'll put 3.5. And remember, you can edit these records, so it can change. And then you'll put the day that you harvested, the time. And when you put the day and time, I'll look up, my system looks up the weather and will automatically display that in the records. And so I'll show you the temperature, the wind direction, the pressure, and the moon phase. And so you're not having to manually enter in any of that stuff. All you got to enter in is the day and the time you killed it. Okay. And then the stands are put on your map. So if you put stands on your map and name those stands, they will show up in your harvest stand drop box. So you can easily put them in your records. Mm-hmm. And then now you can keep up with where you're killing what animal, what stand, and it's all at the tips of your fingers. So that's what makes this nice. You know, a lot of people kind of keep records, and I hear like, well, I keep records and stuff. Yeah, but you do it on your desktop computer at home. How cool would it be to be able to log in to any computer? You're at a hotel, you're on your phone, you're at work, you know, and access all this stuff anytime.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because the place that when we hunt at, we've been doing for about 25 years or so, and we're under managed land deer permits through Texas Parks and Wildlife, so we've got all the data, but it's on 50 different spreadsheets, and I'd love to be able to crunch it and say, okay, Jimmy killed, on average 10 deer a season, and was at this blind, and it was that's really cool stuff.
Yeah,
and then on the
everything's going to data nowadays, even hunting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
hunting intelligence.
That's right. I mean, I like that. So And of course, you can put additional notes as well on there. There's a note section. So, and then once you add a harvest, then you can go through and look at the records and see the pictures of what's being killed. At the top right, you can see an animal drop box, which is what we're on right now going through this, but there's a harvest trend right under it. If you click that drop down harvest trends, and then you can select either by all years that you have had the Hunter Site Journal or by a specific year. And you can we'll choose all years here while I'm talking to you guys. And it'll show you harvested age of bucks. And so you can look from 1.5 to 8.5 years old. It'll tell you how many deer have been killed at 2.5 years old, 4.5 years old, 6.5, yada. It'll tell you the percentage of the total deer killed of that age structure out to the right of that. And then it'll show you a bar graph underneath, just kind of for a quick eye-catch look, and show you that. And then if you scroll further down, it'll show you harvested sex of deer, buck and doe. And so you can see we killed more doe, we killed more bucks. What's our buck to doe ratio? We've got to kill 20 doe this year to get our buck to doe ratio more 1 to 1 or 1 to 2. Are we actually doing that? We feel like we've killed a lot of doe, but what are our records telling us? So that's just there as an extra tool.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you got it's impressive what you got in this website. It's chock full of a lot of cool stuff.
No doubt.
Yeah, I want everyone to go to thehuntersite.com and check it out. See how it can help you out, and we'll leave them here with a little more mystery to go and see what it looks like. And,
all right.
Is there anything else that though you want to tell our listeners about?
Yeah, so you can go to this website, thehuntersite.com. Pretty soon there will be a link, thehuntersitestore.com, tied to thehuntersite.com, and there you'll be able to hunt, shop for all kinds of hunting gear, from some products you've heard on this podcast and some that you haven't. But I would encourage you to check it out. You can actually check it out now, the huntersitestore.com. And if you use promo code capital THS10, so capital THS10, you can save 10% on all purchases in the Hunter Site store until July 5th.
Hey guys, Jimmy here. I just wanted to break in real quick and let you know that the 10% discount at the huntersitestore.com is actually good through July 23rd per Bryce. So please head on over there and see what he has to offer. Again, that's at the huntersitestore.com, 10% off with the code THS10. All
right. Well, Bryce, thank you so much for giving us some time and walking us through the Hunter Site. Again, it's an impressive site. A lot of good functionality that any hunter, especially nowadays, we're all getting into the digital stuff anyway. So everyone's got their cell phone on them, so they can record all their information. And who knows, 10 years from now, it'd be pretty cool to look back on all
I'd be
stuff.
curious to see how many guys get fired at work for using this. I could easily be on this all day.
Think about a landowner, too, having this that just leases out their land or has this on personal, and then they want to sell that land later. Well, you can see these old pictures, from all these other places, or
totally.
You can see my whole journal and what I've done for the last 10 years out here.
Yeah.
I would pay more money for that place.
No doubt.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point, yeah.
Well, Bryce, thanks so much for coming on the Feed Bandit podcast tonight.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, folks. That was Bryce Stone, the founder and creator of thehuntersite.com. And that is a site spelled SIGHT, thehuntersite.com. Go on over there and check out what he has, what he's built for y'all to use out on your land. A lot of cool functionality, as you heard, and a great way to keep a lot of records. So that was pretty cool. Very. I would say that's an innovative hunting product. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think it's really, really cool. I played around with it a little bit as well, and keeping good records is extremely important. I mean, you want to look at your buck to doe ratio. You want to start to see how many deer are you harvesting. As far as what age classes are they, and then really being able to share that information with other guys or other folks that you're hunting with. I think that's enormous.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to have notes saying, okay, I'm the lease taskmaster here. Here's a guy we're hunting, and here's the reason why. And to give them, where they were, and where the deer was, and the reason why you want to harvest it. I think that's pretty huge. That's a really cool site.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, no question. So everyone, again, take a jaunt over to thehuntersite.com and check out what he has over there. There is a button there for tutorials where there's a lot of videos where he kind of walks you through everything we talked about on this podcast. So you can sit there as we were talking about, when you're at work, get on YouTube or on the website and watch. Be productive while you're at work and go watch his tutorial videos and get fired up for the coming hunting season and get yourself a subscription over there. So thanks again, Bryce, for coming on the podcast. And I think that's about all I got for this one. You got anything else for the folks?
I think I'm done for this one.
Awesome. All right, folks. You guys, everyone out there, have a good one, and support your local feed store.
Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. Just a reminder to text the word bandit to 345-345. And when you do, you'll join our email list where we'll send killer deals on innovative hunting products and services, along with entertaining tips and tricks straight to your inbox. You don't want to miss out. So again, text the word bandit to 345-345, and we look forward to seeing you on the hunt. Until next time, have a good one, and remember to support your local feed store.